It's hot, it's daytime, and it seems like an odd time to talk about a horror film, but it also is slightly apt because this is not your normal zombie horror film. Let's talk about We Bury the Dead. G'day, it's Adam here again with another quick instant movie review for you. So today we're talking about We Bury the Dead. This is a 2025 zombie survivalist horror thriller film. It's a lot. Written, directed by Zak Hilditch. So, after an American military EMP experiment goes horribly wrong off the coast of Tasmania, it instantly kills 500,000 people, effectively turning off their brains. And with that, an American physiotherapist by the name of Ava, played by Daisy Ridley, volunteers as part of an Australian military-led body retrieval unit. Basically, what she needs to do is go and retrieve these bodies, dispose of the bodies, find deceased individuals, and she's just been informed that in some cases, these deceased people are kind of coming back online. Their brains haven't fully evolve back, but they've some unfinished business. But Ava has an ulterior motive, that being that her husband came to Tasmania on a work retreat and is currently stuck down the southern end of Tasmania, 200 kilometres away from where the district is that she's at. She needs to get down there to see if he is part of the undead or indeed just to find some closure. She is helped by an Aussie tradie by the name of Clay, played by Brenton Thwaites, to steal a beautiful motorcycle and make the trip across the zombie-infected landscape. Along the way, they meet an Aussie soldier, Riley, played by Mark Cole-Smith, who is also living in grief, and an uneasy interaction between Ava and Riley occurs, showing us just how those that are still standing are trying to deal with the dead. Ooh. As I mentioned, this is directed by Zak Hilditch, Australian director who made These Final Hours. If you've seen that film, this will give you a little bit of a glimpse into the kind of film we're dealing with here. This is shot by Steve Annis, who did Colour Out of Space and The Crow, so it looks pretty amazing, this film. A big ups to the production designer, Clayton Jancy, who did a great job of the production design on this, which I imagine was a relatively small budget. And a big ups to Duncan Campbell, who did the sound design in this, because when our undead come back online, there is a distinct thing that they do with their teeth that is at one stage amazing and a second stage overly horrible to listen to. So big ups to you for making the most horrific sound in film yet. So this film, when I first saw the trailer for We Bury the Dead, I was probably like everyone else. Oh my gosh, this is a scary looking Australian zombie film with Daisy Ridley, and it is going to be next level scary as Kahoo. Running zombies, terrifying out of the shadows zombies, the teeth thing, the sound, the vision. It was looking pretty scary. And then I went and saw this film, and let me tell you, I was bitterly disappointed. But I was bitterly disappointed because the trailer sold something very different. I wasn't bitterly disappointed by the film, but by what the trailer was promising. So that's a pretty scary thing from a marketing point of view, because we are being sold a film that this really isn't. So then I went back and watched the film a second time, and We Bury the Dead has some very, very intense moments of grief, of trying to settle amongst this strange new feeling of what it feels like to leave someone, but not have them quite left, and trying to restage some emotions and some feelings, particularly around, the character of Riley, where we're really given some hugely emotive support, performances in a very odd environment and odd moments, but two people kind of finding some sort of acceptance and understanding, although that understanding does go out the window pretty quickly, so let's be clear. And what you're going to do in a survival situation. The great thing about Daisy Ridley's character in this, and the way that she presents Ava, is a person that needs to go and do a job, but also is carrying a massive weight on her shoulders. So she feels like in order to have that weight lifted, she needs to go and do some pretty horrible things that might be completely out of her comfort zone, but she kind of needs to do it as a form of necessity. So by no means is she a hero. She's just someone who's driven by a personal desire to get something done to clear that off her plate. So from that point of view, it's a very good performance. And Brenton Thwaites was brought in at the last moment for this film. So he plays a character that is pure Australian, putting the ochre up to 11, having a real good fun with his character. He's kind of the levity amongst all this darkness, so it was really lovely to have his character in there, and Brenton does such a great job playing that, and it was really a pleasure to watch him up on the big screen and playing these type of roles. It was really fun. It's a really well measured, well thought through performance. There's a couple of moments towards the end of the film that I kind of went, how does that all work? How does geography work, in order to bring certain things back together? And then the very last scene of this film kind of left it as a little bit of an open scale. So We Bury the Dead, as far as a zombie film, is quite a big letdown because there isn't a lot of zombie action. The zombie is kind of almost the metaphor for what has to happen with these people and where their stories and trajectory goes. So it's kind of there in the background. But I sort of feel like the way that We Bury the Dead ends almost alludes to the fact that this could very easily have a sequel, because we haven't found out enough about what's happening with these zombies. We haven't found out enough about the threat. What actually are they going to do if they catch us? And indeed, is it selective in regards to who's coming back online? Because it's never really talked about. So that it'd be very interesting to sort of pick up this story now that a lot of our character arcs have sort of been realized and we've kind of got to that resolution. It'd be interesting to sort of come back through to where we came from and see what the evolution of these creatures are. So I think then you would really get the zombie film that you really want. It's kind of like, we've had all the exposition from the characters' point of view. We've flushed out these characters, but we haven't gotten to the meat and potatoes of the horror and the threat that is surrounding them. So I thought it was quite an interesting look at it. By no means should you go into this thinking you're going to watch a horrific, high-paced, bloody horror film. There are some horrific moments in it, let's be clear. That's from both the human side and from the zombie side, but it's by no means that film. We're not talking Bone Temple. Even the Bone Temple is very similar in regards to where the zombies play second base, but it's no Dawn of the Dead. It's we're not in that kind of territory. This is very much a character drama filled with zombies as a landscape at the back in regards to propelling the story forward. So this is a really tricky one to talk about because I hate this film because of the way that the trailer sold it, but I really do respect what we have from a character point of view. So it's very interesting. And just Daisy Ridley is fantastic, as is Brenton Thwaites, as is Mark Holes. They're all very, very good. So I think I'm a little bit disappointed with how the film was sold to me, but I would like to watch this once again, and I actually would love to see a sequel to this film. So I don't know if Zak Hilditch would ever do that. Interesting that this film was based in Tasmania, but it was shot in WA. I think from a logistics point of view, Zak has a lot more resources over there, and it's a lot easier for him to shoot there than it was in Tasmania, which is a shame because it would have been nice to have it actually set in the place that it's set. But I mean, this is the movies. It happens all the time. So there you go. But still, I would give We Bury the Dead, I'd probably give it a 6.5 to a 7 out of 10, maybe verging on 7. It was just a different film to what I was expecting to see, but by no means does that make it a bad film. It's got a lot of potential, but it probably needed to be sold a little differently. There we go. Have you seen a film that by the trailer sold you a completely different film? Comment below, let me know. I'd love to find out
which film kind of threw your expectations a little bit. All right, that's it from me. I look forward to catching up with you all next time here in my car. Bye.